All right, so it's been quite an emotional day, and it looks like this deal's going to go many weeks forward until we get a few hostages back every week. Today we got three of our girls back. It was very emotional to see them reuniting with their families, and I'm sure it's going to take some time to unpack what they've experienced in captivity there and all the brutality they've seen. Today, we're going to take a look at Naftali Bennett, the former Prime Minister of Israel, and let's see what he has to say about the whole situation.
I want to bring in former Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett. Sir, your reaction to what Trey just reported?
You know, in Israel, we have a fundamental principle that we don't leave anyone behind. And as a former soldier and commander and Prime Minister of Israel, this is really at the core of what makes Israel strong, is that solidarity. This is a heart-wrenching decision, make no mistake, because they're gonna release only third of the hostages, while we have two-thirds who are gonna remain hostages for the time being. And there's a considerable price here, but we're bracing ourselves for difficult days to embrace these hostages that are being released and bring them home.
Explain to me the mechanics of the political side of this. This is something that Trey just touched on in his live report. This is tomorrow a.m. The Supreme Court, that's one component, the Israeli Supreme Court, but also the Israeli Security Cabinet. They've got to vote. They've got to accept the terms of the deal, and then Israel's parliament as well. Are you confident that those are going to be yes votes? And this passes through all of these.
The Supreme
hurdles?
Court will certainly confirm, so will the government. It doesn't require the parliament. The Knesset does not have to vote, so this is going to pass. There may be some opposition in the cabinet, but it's going to pass.
In your opinion, is this a good deal that Netanyahu is moving forward with?
Look, I don't want to second guess the current government. It's an agonizing decision to make under tremendous pressures. I've been in that seat. I know how hard it is to govern Israel. There'll be a time and place to analyze how we reach this point, because to be honest, we had set three objectives and we've not yet met those objectives. It was defeating Hamas, replacing Hamas as the governing entity of Gaza, and bringing home all the hostages. So we're a year and 2 months in and we've not yet achieved that. So I think at this point, it's already fait accompli. This deal is done. And now we have to prepare to receive these hostages, begin the long process of, getting back on our feet. Israel will persevere. That I can promise you. We're a strong nation, and ultimately we're going to defeat Hamas.
You are a strong nation. I agree with that 100%. But I have a question, though, with regards to the structure of the deal, because what about Gaza now? Because does this effectively give Hamas back Gaza? I mean, Benjamin Netanyahu said repeatedly after October 7th that the elimination of Hamas was the goal. Does this agreement actually complete that?
No, it doesn't. For the time being, Hamas, unfortunately, remains the sovereign or the governing entity of Gaza. That's a bad thing. That's a part of the meaningful price of this deal. However, after 42 days, Israel will be able to continue to pursue the removal of Hamas. And I know both the outgoing and incoming administrations in the United States totally support the replacement of Hamas in Gaza. We're going to have to do that.
Didn't mean to interrupt you, but what did you make of Steve Witkoff's participation in these negotiations? He is President-elect Donald Trump's nominee, of course, to be Middle East envoy, but he was already in the ground in Doha and Qatar as in a piece of this. We had our president, President Joe Biden, last night take credit, and rightly so, for putting together the structure of the deal. It seems that the deal that's in place now was pretty much what Joe Biden had put together and the UN had voted for at the beginning of last summer. Final word on that.
Well, we're thankful to President Biden and to incoming President Trump. Clearly, Trump's involvement had a meaningful impact that's obvious to anyone who looks at it. All I can say is that in Israel, while we can only try and celebrate life, even amid the huge price that we're paying. On the other side of the border in Gaza, we're seeing huge celebrations of death and people chanting, we're going to continue October 7th, live Yahya Sinwar. This is what we're dealing with. We're undaunted. We are strong. We will defeat Hamas. It'll take maybe longer than we had hoped, but we ultimately are fighting for life, for good, and good will prevail.
All right. Thank you, Naftali, for joining us.
There you have it. So that was Naftali Bennett on the matter, and I'm glad that he has a very down-to-earth perspective on the matter. He's not just going on a tirade of criticism for the government for what they're doing. He understands he's been in the prime minister's shoes before, and he knows the pressure that is there when dealing with these high-stakes scenarios. And yeah, at the same time, he realizes that we don't have all the cards. There's so many things hidden from us. At the end of the day, we were put in this situation to make the best of it. So you can look at all the factors that got us here. The fact that our security and our defenses weren't up to par. We didn't pay attention what happened on October 7th. We let them build up all their their garrisons, their arsenals there until they overran us. You can take a look at all this, but at the end of the day, we can look at ourselves and all the blame that we have, but that's not going to get us through the situation right now. Just a simple example, the fact that we're so divided after the elections happened and Netanyahu won the elections. The amount of division that was there was actually cited by Hamas for the reason that they would be successful and why they planned their attacks to go at that specific time. So I really appreciate Naftali Bennett's perspective on this and how he realizes we're here now, let's make the best of it, and then we'll recalculate and readjust our course afterwards. I know there's, again, different people who may agree or disagree with the deal, but I hope Israel has an ace up its sleeve, no different than we had with the pager situation. It seemed we're in dire straits, and all of a sudden this surprise operation comes out of nowhere. So war is far from over. Hamas is infamous for breaking ceasefires. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Trump is probably now in office by the time you're watching this video. There's many more things that are, in the dark that we're only hoping that it'll turn out good. So this is Jewish Uncensored. We'll keep you up to date on the current events as they occur, and we'll see you tomorrow.